over here where I'm painting my finger, there's the Newfie flag. I was the one who introduced that flag. Before that, we only had the Union Jack. And that was the flag I introduced when I was 3 years old. Secondly, I want to say to all of you who come from far and wide on Vancouver Island and some quite like me on the mainland who come here today, it is such a wonderful thing that you have done to physically move yourself and not just look at a TV or send an email to somebody or a letter, but actually physically get up and move and make your support known in person today. That's very, very important. And as we go forward over the next several weeks and months, it's going to get more and more important.
It's all about the people.
Physically attend these rallies that many are going to have. Because I think it's only in this way that we're going to be able to persuade the powers that be, from the premiers to the ministers, to the municipal mayors, to the prime minister, and to the judges of this country, that we are not satisfied with the way you are operating our country, that you have let our country down.
Yeah.
And who would have thought that in 2021 we would do things which were quite commonplace in Athens in 594 BC? How come that we've come from 2021 from 500 BC and still haven't recognized the basic things that make a democratic society work? And then it happened with the Magna Carta in 1215. It happened with Cicero back at the time of Caesar. It happened with Voltaire. It happened with Montesquieu. It happened at the French Revolution. And then it happened at the American Revolution. And then we had our Confederation in 1867 that brought our country together. But one thing we forgot in our Constitution of 1867, there was no Charter of Rights and Freedoms. There was no Bill of Rights like there was in the United States. The United States had their Bill of Rights in 1791. We never got ours until 1981. And who would have thought that after getting our Charter of Rights, after all these centuries, from Solon and Socrates in Greece, all the way up through, and then finally to get it in 1981, and somebody's going to tell us today we no longer have them?
No!
What has happened to our country? What has happened to paralyze all the leaders of our nation? What's happened to them? They've all become paralyzed. There are people today who are with me at the Charter of Rights and Freedoms of 1981 that are still alive, and I haven't heard a sound from them in the last 20 months. They have remained silent. Silent in the face of all of this. And so, after 1867, when we became a nation, we didn't have a written Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We had to depend upon the British common law. We had to depend upon precedents and customs to see our individual rights and freedoms honored in some way. And then in 1960, you must be reminded, the Japanese Baker brought in the Bill of Rights. And he acknowledged that there were rights that individuals had. The only problem was that it was only a federal law. And it was only passed by Parliament, and therefore could be changed by any majority government. So the Bill of Rights has its shortages, and I want everybody here in this audience today to understand that. It was an important document, a very important document of its time, which should have been done back in 1867. But it was done in 1960, but it was limited only to people who were under federal law. There's a difference between federal law and national law. You have to understand. So it didn't apply to all the provinces and all the people of the country in 1960. That's why in 1981 we brought in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which wasn't passed by the Prime Minister. It was passed by 9 provinces and the Prime Minister. It's a national document that applies to everyone here today and everyone all over Canada.
Yeah.
So understand, except for the the creation of the country in 1867, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is by far the most important document in the history of our country since we were a country. It is the most important one because it applies to you and me equally. Every individual on this planet is unique. Like every snowflake is unique, every individual is unique. And therefore, when you get a document which says that I have these freedoms and I have these rights, that means every single one of us, from the Fino to Iqaluit to Bonavista to the Niagara Peninsula, every Canadian is equal and has equal rights before the law. Section 2 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. What does it say? It says you have freedom of expression, you have freedom of conscience, you have freedom of religion, you have freedom of expression, and you have freedom of the press.
Yeah.
What else does it say? It says you have freedom to associate.
Yeah.
You have freedom to assemble.
Yes. Woo!
And in section 6 it says you have the right to travel anywhere in this nation, anytime.
Amen.
And you even have the freedom to leave this country.
Yes.
But most importantly for a lot of people who now see this, it also says in section 6, you have the right to pursue a livelihood anywhere in this country.
Yeah. Woo!
You have the right to pursue a livelihood anywhere in this country, and they are taking the jobs away, inside the government and outside the government, and threatening others of their jobs. And then number 7 says, section 7 says, you have the right, listen to this one, to life, liberty, as Dr. Nagasi talked about, Dr. Hoff talked about. And you also have the right to your security of the person. Nobody is allowed to touch you unless you agree.
Yeah. Woo!
And then section 15 says, to top it all off, we weren't satisfied with those 3. We topped it off by saying every person in Canada is equal before the law.
Yeah.
You're just as equal as Justin Trudeau. You're just as equal as John Horgan. You're just as equal as Adrian Dixon. My dad, you're really just as equal as Bobby Henry.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a back seat to anybody.
Nope.
You have your rights and your freedoms as an individual. This business of group rights and this business of lobby group rights and all the rest completely disguises your rights as an individual. And we've got to be very careful going forward that we don't lose these rights to these groups, that they take over and dominate the government of British Columbia or the government of every province. You must remain steadfast. That as an individual, you come first. The groups come second. That you form. And that's very important for any democracy anywhere in the world. When the individual gets submerged by a group or something else, that's the beginning of the decline of our democracy. So those 4 sections of the Constitution and of the Charter of Rights are absolutely sacrosanct, okay? And then we've got people out there who are trying to say to me and to others, I don't know if they think we don't know the difference, that somehow Section 1 of the Constitution, I know it's cool, I know it's getting easy, you gotta listen to this. Somehow that Section 1 forgives the government. And that they can go ahead and override those other 4 sections I just mentioned. I got news for them. There are 4 tests that have to be met. Well, first of all, that Section 1 doesn't even apply to our circumstance. Because when we wrote that section, the whole idea was this, that the only way you can override these sacrosanct rights and freedoms of individuals if there was a dire situation in the country, like war or insurrection. A virus from which 99% recover is no war and no insurrection.
No, it isn't. Yeah.
And then if you tried to, to make it, try to apply to this circumstance, what did you have to do? You had to do four things. You had to do four things. Number one, justify it. That wasn't heavy enough. Demonstrably justify what you're doing. Demonstrably justify what you're doing. Okay? Okay? Is that all?
Remember that.
Oh, no. You have to demonstrably justify that by law.
Yeah.
That meant a new law, not the existing laws that they're using. New circumstance means new law. Where's the new law? They never went to the parliament. They never went to the provincial assemblies to get a new law. They tried to use the existing law. They skirted around the Charter of Rights and Freedoms by law. Number three, using reasonable limits. And number four, you had to do all of those other three, but remember, it had to be done in a way that was consistent with a free and democratic society. What they're doing is not consistent with any free or democratic society. It's more consistent with a totalitarian society.
That's right. That's right.
So don't be fooled by those who try to tell you that somehow you can skirt around the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I was there, I helped write the damn thing, and they're wrong, and we're right.
Yeah.
We didn't wait from 1867 to 1981 to now 2021 to see all of our rights suddenly wiped out for callous and powerful reasons by those who forget from whence they came. Ours is a country worth fighting for. Listen to me, I was 7 years old before I became a Canadian. I wasn't born a Canadian, but I can tell you right now, I'm a Canadian now, and I want to defend what we've had and what we know we can continue to have in this country. And you and me are not going to take a back seat to all those who are trying to somehow excuse what happened. We're not going to take a back seat to these people. We're going to stand next, beside them or above them and tell them that we want a prosperous, secure, and free Canada for the future of our children and our grandchildren, and you have no right to try to steal that away from us.
That's right.
From Tofino to Iqaluit to Bangladesh to the Niagara Peninsula, we must become united as Canadians, as free Canadians, understanding our history, understanding the history of our planet, and put that all in context for tomorrow, so that we can be a proud, free country in the northern part of North America. We're not going away, Mr. Hull.
Nope.
We're not going away, Mr. Kula. We're going to stand and be counted and to make sure that we restore the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that everybody fought so hard to get. Stay around. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
We have a special gift to give the Honorable Brian Peckford. This man here, Mark, importantly, has a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Oh.
When did you take that? I stood on the Berlin Wall November 9th, 1989, and I took 1,000 pieces. And I've got one here for the Honorable Brian Peckford, and I wish to present it to him. This is all unprepared, but I would like to present it to you for all the work you've done. And I took this off the Berlin Wall. I stood with 20,000 people with a sledgehammer in one hand and a freedom sickle in the other. We're here to bring down this invisible Berlin Wall by threatening our children and our democracy and our future.
Thank you, Brian.